January 2019. This is when I first joined the social media site Twitter, now going by X. The reason I made an account was thanks to Nintendo Direct announcements being first shown on the site, along with some of my favorite creators at the time using the site as well, such as Spawnwave. Over time, I built a brand and a personality around it. This was the birth home of Squidward 5, and was responsible for making some tweets people liked. I enjoyed it, despite the many drama and ton of hate that gets spread around on the site. My first Twitter break was in summer 2021 after not being careful about myself and what I say, which resulted in some conflict with others. I would return in 2022 and continue to be myself, with past experiences helping me become a better person. But 2023 as a year has been a complex story that developed into a mental struggle more than anything I experienced. I felt like I spent much more time away from the site and felt much better about myself because of it. The site was in worse shape and I noticed how miserable people can be. Although it's mostly a state of the world thing, it has become much more unbearable to the point in which my emotions towards certain topics became extreme, and I feel there was no need to be there anymore, with very little value I bring. Hi everyone, this is going to be a video that normally I don't do. I'm going to explain in detail the concept of my departure from Twitter from late June to early July of 2023. This is going to be based on my personal experience with the site and will be a video about how much Twitter has fallen so much. There's probably billions of these videos that already discuss this topic to the full degree. And what I say is my opinion about how I see the world from the last few months. With this out of the way, let's begin. It's early 2023 and I started a new semester of college. I had to retake a drawing course because I wasn't good and just focused on gaming and my YouTube stuff as well. Twitter was the site I used to look at information and look at what other people are interested in, with constant discussions about the world with some funny memes here and there. Plus, the art was pretty neat as well. During this time period, I was feeling negative about the site and life to the point in which I say negative things in the comment section. On one Sunday, it got the best of me and ended up having an internal mental breakdown. And with college going to become a major commitment to my routine being destroyed, this ended up making me unfollow everyone on Twitter and put me to an even angrier state. With this in mind, I ended up taking a break from the site and tried to rejoin a few Discord servers in order to stay up to date on what's happening, since I'm no longer a part of the app to get news and details. The days after the breakdown and leaving the site, I was rewarded. Not only did my efficiency in college work improve, including that drawing course, but even a student came up to me to talk. But that didn't lead anywhere. One more thing that resulted from this was a day trip to Boston in March to a convention. Make sure you remember this detail because I will bring this idea back up soon. Over the course of a few months, I made a decision to return to the site once the semester is over, around early May. Over time, I refollowed the Twitter accounts I unfollowed back then, and even used it to look at information at accounts such as BioReconstruct and The Good Smile Company. The college semester ended and passed my classes, including that drawing course, which the professor saw significant improvement in. After all that, I decided to return to Twitter, first to just the web browser, but re-downloaded the app later that night because posting pictures and videos were a major issue with the web browser, and decided to catch up with everyone that I've left behind. This is when I started to notice that everyone lost their minds. Elon Musk bought the site in late 2022, but the bad business decisions were coming daily all the time. Politics was also being shoved down my throat and was always one-sided, which makes discussions feel like warfare, since both the left and the right can never get along. In June, the sequel to Spider-Verse was released, and I've never seen the film, which is incredibly shocking since everyone had a positive opinion about it. The reason this was the case is due to me being away in Jamaica at the time for a family trip. If I wasn't, I probably would have seen it with a friend. When I got home from the vacation, it was more of the same, and the standard of life is continuing to decrease by the minute, which leads to the major event that destroyed my trust with the site and my personal sanity for around a week. In late June, a recent Supreme Court ruling has brought the worst in people. I get why many were upset, and I agree with them, but the hate was to a point where it bothered me. Additionally, I was playing a video game called Rune Factory 5 in which it mentally pissed me off. With both of these occurrences, it put me down a mental struggle. A day later, Twitter limited how many tweets you could see in a day. This was the final straw. After this, I left Twitter and I was done with it. Although the state of the world had major implications regarding its standards, it was always wrong and it basically was annoying. Not to mention, Elon Musk has the right to do these awful business decisions since he owns it. Reminder, billionaires can do whatever the hell they want and they will get away with it. That's just how life works. Sorry to disappoint you. This transformed into a week of hell and unhappiness. But after realizing I had a math course to do and video games to play, to even doing things with friends, I kept myself busy. Over time, the site was renamed to X, and I continued to hear of these awful business decisions that continue to happen on the daily. At least once a week it happens, and it's depressing. Remember when I mentioned I went to Boston as a reward for leaving Twitter the second time? This time was the same thing, but on the other side of the country. My friend and his mother wanted me to join their trip to Los Angeles, California, since he wanted to do the Super Nintendo World theme park area at Universal Studios Hollywood. And to say that this trip was amazing was an understatement. For this video, the most significant is to see and experience what it's like to be the other guy. Was almost scammed, see Venice Beach, and a culture that I never thought would still exist to this day, helped put life into a new perspective for me. I had an awesome time, which made me cry a few days after I came home, and after a nice birthday, I managed to pass my math course and decided to go play a few video games here and there. Not to mention, I even got myself a job somewhere as well for a month. To even be more comfortable with politics on a regular basis with YouTube videos explaining the downfall of society better than what Twitter will ever do. To this day, I'll only use the site to look at information, and that's it. This leads to today, nearing or around when the fall semester begins. I don't want to be on this site anymore, and it continues to get worse by the minute. Life itself had a major factor to it, but it's also a me thing. I originally believed that it was the people who really make this site toxic, but it's actually now leadership and politics. In my experience with the site, it ranges from a mixture of things that isn't just one thing, multiple things in fact. The following is why I failed Twitter. I failed to have meaningful conversations due to a lack of things to really say, what hasn't already been said to this point. I failed many times to make meaningful relationships with friends, and thus multiple groups of people left because of my own ego. Only people I really have now is whoever supports me, and I appreciate every single one of you for sticking around. I fail at being current or bringing anything to the table since, for the most part, I didn't experience media such as the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise, to some RPG series I never got the chance to play, to the Spider-Verse example I brought up in the video earlier. My views on life will and will not fit on the site regardless if I try. Yes, the world is a miserable place, and I do believe that life will likely get much, much worse before it gets better. The constant negativity puts fear into people, and it just makes them unhappy, and it probably puts mental struggles on them, including me. I can't take it. I don't have an audience as much anymore due to the constant breaks and never reaching out to people to start conversations. And finally, I can do more without the site anymore. I have YouTube and Discord stuff to do. Growing up, I have always been a miserable and angry individual to the point of mental breakdowns every now and then. Mentally, I can never understand the world, and I cannot understand myself to the point where I just frustrated. And maybe change is something I'm not used to. Even with Twitter, it was rebranded as X, and I'm still not used to the fact that it's like that. I'm likely the reason I can't get over life, and I feel I won't be able to change. Despite the negativity that I constantly bring Twitter to be, Twitter as a site helped me develop to the individual I am today. It was the reason I can get into some gaming IPs such as the Yakuza series, to even some Japanese RPGs that some become series I ended up enjoying, to even doing a daily gaming backlog that got me exposed to even more content. This site impacted me in good ways, but also bad. I hate how the negativity is everywhere. Constant piss poor business decisions that are passed for some reason. And since I didn't engage in certain media to not doing it the first minute it came out, I didn't have much to say. On top of feeling I had bad English, despite English being the only language I can fluently speak, it's hard for me to stay on this site to this day. I'm beyond exhausted with this nonstop, and my life will probably be better without it. I know most people are going to be confused about what I say, so feel free to comment about anything you don't understand. For those who are just here for the YouTube, don't worry, I have a few projects planned for the rest of the year, and I'll also be active on Discord as my primary social media channel with the link to my server in the description. I'll only use Twitter to look at information, but maybe mentally my mind wants me to return, but then again, if I do, I'll probably repeat the same mistakes over and over again, and I can't do that, especially in society these days. But who knows? That's just who I am.